Hi guys, welcome to Hoops Junction. Vlad here, and today we're going to be talking about small ball and how small ball is not for everybody. Recently, with the Golden State Warriors' success, their winning streak, NBA championship, and the way that their players have been able to flourish underneath their small ball system, every team is trying to copycat that. You know, they call the NBA a copycat league. Well, unfortunately, many teams just don't understand that copying the Golden State Warriors system is just, number one, an admission that they don't know what they're doing, and number two, it is forfeiting their advantages on the basketball court. A lot of teams in NBA face identity crisis. They don't know what they're good at. They don't know what they're extremely bad at. They just are somewhere in the middle. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to throw in different lineups. They're trying to figure things out. You know, in the case of the Golden State Warriors, they knew that playing small was their bread and butter. They practiced it during the regular season last year. They had great success with it last year. Even in the NBA Finals, they were able to incorporate small ball, and that's what pushed them over the top in order to win the NBA Finals. Now, if any other team, general manager, coach tries to implement the same style, they're going to fail at it because they don't have the same personnel as the Golden State Warriors. They don't have a Draymond Green that could guard someone that's bigger than them, rebound, push the ball. They don't have him, Draymond Green, which can spread the floor and shoot threes at the 4 position. You know, not many teams have that luxury. And not only that, Draymond Green is an excellent passer, and he's a tremendous rebounder. So not every team has that. You don't have a Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson that can drain threes. You don't have Andre Iguodala coming off the bench. Every team is different. Every team is unique. So in order to think that you're going to take one of your players and put them in that same role and watch them do the same thing that the Golden State Warriors is doing, already you're losing. You're showing that you don't know what you're talking about. That's what's going on with small ball. I see a lot of teams that are trying to recreate it. You know, the Cleveland Cavaliers, you know, due to injury, they've been de facto playing a little bit of small ball. The Memphis Grizzlies have been trying to play small ball, and they're not the only teams. But at the end of it all, what it boils down to is teams in the NBA have to start looking within themselves, within their structure, within their base, and see what they're good at. You can't focus on what another team is good at and think it's going to automatically work for you. You know, like, and the problem with trying to copy another team is once you're copying and you see that it's not working, you're back to square one. You completely wasted time. Instead, I see what like a lot of teams are not doing. They're not perfecting what they're already good at. You know, the Memphis Grizzlies, they're really good at pounding you inside, rebounding, blocking shots, playing a physical game. And I feel like past couple years they've been going away from that. You know what I mean? It's really, really ridiculous. It's just like, if this is what you were successful at, don't go away from it. Instead, perfect it. You know, maybe Zach Randolph could get a Jumpman program so he could jump a little higher. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he could exercise in a different way so he could jump higher. Maybe Mark Gasol, he could lift more weights or add 5 pounds of muscle. Get better at what you're already doing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what a lot of teams just don't understand. They're always trying to change up the style, trying to incorporate this, trying to bring in more pieces. When a lot of the times it's just that you're not the best at what you do, and that's why you're losing. That's all it is. Like when you look at McDonald's, there's not another competitor that can defeat McDonald's when it comes to fries. Like, I can make French fries all I want, but McDonald's is always going to be a national brand for French fries. An iPhones are at the best at what they do, the way they market their product, the way they create their product. There might be another phone that's better than an iPhone, but just for the simple fact they're the best at what they do, making the iPhone and marketing the iPhone, you can't beat them. And that's how the Warriors are. The Warriors are the best at what they do. Small ball is the best at what they do. They don't sugarcoat anything. They don't try to play anybody else's style of game. They always play their style of game. And what that's causing is other teams are trying to play the same style, and it's not working for you. It's not going to work. Because when it's time for crunch time, when you have to make really large decisions, huge decisions, like in the NBA Finals, what Steve Kerr had to do. If another coach makes that same decision, they're going to fail because they're not the best at what they do. And that is what kills teams. Like, for example, like the Miami Heat, when they were the big three and they won those back-to-back championships, all they did pretty much was pick and roll, put LeBron, pick and roll. He gets the big man comes out, he blows by him, layup. You couldn't stop it. There's no way you could stop it. Another thing they did was space the floor with shooters. As soon as they did that, everybody in the NBA try to copycat it and put shooters and everything like that on their team. But the thing is, your shooters weren't as good as Miami shooters. You didn't have a Mike Miller making 7, 8 threes. You didn't have a Jones making threes. You didn't have Mario Chalmers. You cannot copy another team's style. You just have to perfect your own. You have to perfect your craft. And that's not just with basketball. It's with everything in life. Like, if you see somebody with something, you can't automatically say, like, okay, I want to do what they're doing because it looks like it's successful. But you have to look within yourself and say, hey, am I good at that? Can I do that? Is that something that is within my talent level? Or do I have other talents? Do I have other strengths? Perfect your own strengths. Look within. And a lot of general managers, they're not doing that. All they're doing is the next fad that comes, they're like, okay, I'm going to draft for it. I'm going to get me a player he could do this, he could dribble, he could shoot, because Stephen Curry is the new wave of the future. Or what they'll do is they'll go to the draft and say, I need another LeBron James because I need a player like LeBron because LeBron is how the NBA is going to be played. Or they'll go into the draft and say, I'm not going to draft a big man because the NBA is going away from that. Now, let me tell you something. Or let me give you a scenario. Let's just say Shaq was in the draft last year. I'm talking about 2001 Shaq. Do you think that you would draft somebody else to play small ball, or would you go back to traditional big man? And that's what I'm trying to tell you. You have to use common sense and use your head. Like, you would draft Shaq every time because you know that he could be dominant. And part of the problem is with a lot of teams, what they're doing is they're falling into the small ball trap, and they're not using their bigs as often, and they're forfeiting their advantage. At times, you think that playing small ball is the way to go when you have a big man that can actually dominate the smaller player. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure if the Warriors ever play the Spurs in the playoffs and it's LaMarcus Aldridge against Draymond Green or Tim Duncan against Draymond Green, they're going to eat him up. And that's just because that's their advantage, and they'll go to that advantage every time. Think about when you play pickup basketball. If you're playing a smaller team, you're just going to go inside on them all day. And them playing small is not going to deter you from going inside. But for some reason in the NBA, just because teams see another team has success, they just want to copycat. And it's not going to work. And it's sad that a lot of teams are not trying to build upon their strengths. You know, some teams, ball movement is their strength. So perfect your ball movement. Bring in other plays. Steal other plays from other organizations that promote ball movement. Perfect your craft. Don't just up and try to do what the next team is doing. And a lot of teams are doing that. And what they don't understand is they don't have the bench of Golden State to play small ball. They don't have the guards of Golden State to play small ball. They don't have the stretch fours to play small ball. You know, I can't expect, for example, Kevin Love to play the same way as Draymond Green plays. There's no way. There's no possible way. And you have to start looking at it like that. If Kevin Love's strength is him going inside or sometimes shooting the three, that's what you have to play more towards. You know, if LeBron James' strength is pick and roll, give me the big man, I'm gonna go to work on him. That's all it has to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't play outside your strength. Don't try to fit a square peg into a round hole, because all you're gonna do is create more confusion, and you're gonna end up having more people getting fired. Because eventually in NBA, if you don't win, you get fired. The issue is many teams don't take time out to perfect their craft and perfect what they're good at. You know, if you look at the Houston Rockets, they're a huge example of it. You know, like when Kevin McHale got fired, I'm pretty sure there was internal discord, and what they saw was, what we do is like running up and down and shooting threes. That's working for a limited amount of time, but when we get to the playoffs, we're always getting bounced out. Like the year before, they got bounced out the first round. And last year they went to the Western Conference Finals, but that was actually luck. A little bit of luck. It was skill and luck, but I would say luck overall because they were down 3-1. They shouldn't have won that series, but the Clippers, doodled themselves. That's another topic for another discussion. Anyway, Kevin McHale probably was saying that, hey, this is not. We have Dwight Howard. He's a big man. Why don't we throw the ball into him more? But they don't do that. They're trying to play the small ball game, trying to run up and down, shoot a lot of threes. And really, that's not working. That doesn't work because that doesn't fit their personnel. You don't have a whole bunch of people that are ball handlers on the Rockets. Besides James Harden and Patrick Beverly, there's not a lot of ball handlers on the Rockets. So things like that, you have to play towards your strengths. You have to perfect your strengths. You have to, try to shore up your weakness, but improve your strengths. Sometimes you can have an advantage that's so huge, it completely crushes your weaknesses. You get what I'm saying? Like, for example, like Jay-Z or DMX, they probably have like a lot of character flaws that people don't like about them, but their music is so good, you can't overlook the music. Kanye West, another one. His music is so good, you have to overlook his shenanigans because that's his strength, and he plays to his strength. You get what I'm saying? Like, Tupac played to his strength. His strength was being genuine, saying what was on his mind, and his music was so powerful that all his getting arrested, people overlook that all the time. Things that we would look at other people as saying like, oh my God, they're like so disgusting. They're the degenerates of our generation. People don't look at Tupac for that because they say that he was so real. His strength was his realness. And that's the problem with a lot of people. They don't go within. A lot of teams in the NBA don't go within. They go outside, and that's how general managers get fired. That's how coaches get fired, and that's how you start out the season 2-19 or whatever the case is. But that's just my whole spiel on small ball. It's not for everybody. Everybody has a certain talent the way that they can play basketball. You don't have to do what the next team's doing. If what you do can work and you can make it better, focus on that. And that's the thing. A lot of teams won't focus on that. A lot of teams won't focus on getting better. And that's where they fail. Anyway, this is Vlad from Hoops Junction, where hoops meets hoopla. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.